This conference will now be recorded.
What's up? We're going to call meeting January the 14th at 6:01 p.m. Roll call. Homer Terina, present. Ivan Sandoval.
Present.
Maribel Diaz, absent. Esmer Solis.
Present.
Greg Loya, absent. Cesar Rodriguez, absent. And Adolfo Arriaga.
Present.
Listen, we do have a quorum. Item B, public comments. Eddie?
No one signed up for public comments.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, minutes. Item A, approval of minutes for the September 14th, 2020 AGUA SUD board meeting.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Sandoval. I have a second by Arriaga. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, 2B, approval of minutes for October 5th, 2020 AGUA SUD board meeting.
So move.
I have a motion by Arriaga. I have a second by Sandoval. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, discussion possible action on a non-standard service agreement for water and wastewater service to be submitted to Mr. Ovidio Garcia for the costs related to water and wastewater service for Calidad subdivision.
At this moment, Mr. President, I'm going to request Mr. Salinas.
Hold on. For the record, Maribel Diaz just walked in at 6:02.
Good evening, President, board members. This is a subdivision that consists of 10.15 acres. It's located on the northwest corner of Pino Street and Liberty Boulevard in Peñitas, Texas. It's for 10 residential lots, and we have met with the developer, and we recommend approval.
Okay. Any questions? I have a motion by Arriaga. I need a second.
Second.
By Esmer Solis. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, discussion possible action on approval of change order number 7 with SureTech for Palmview wastewater collection system phase 1, group A and G, subject to Texas Water Development Board approval. Eddie or middle?
Yes, we have Mr. Salinas to negotiate the contract with SureTech to make the presentation. So this is change order number 7 that's being proposed by SureTech. This was some work on Breakville at the intersection of Breakville and the expressway. This was an original change order originally submitted by S&B, which was change order 4B, and at that time that change order was not approved. It's for some work that's still pending to be done. It includes an additional manhole and steel casing for some utility complex. So they're requesting a total amount of $31,816 and 20 working days. We feel that's fair, and we recommend approval.
Did we get anything on the credit for the steel casing? Did we get a letter from the attorney or from them?
So Mr. Chapman said that we probably wouldn't be able to get something from them by the time we had this board meeting. So we don't have anything at this time. But like I was telling Mr. Ryan, this is work that does need to get done. We don't want to delay it, but we're still trying to work with them to get a credit for that steel case. So. Right. There is money in the construction in the budget at the Water Development Board still. I think this, as Mr. Salinas said, it still needs to be done. I'm impartial either way, whether we want to continue negotiations and make it subject to credit. We can discuss it with Jeff as well, if you want to. We can move this over into executive session to be on in the executive.
Yeah, can we take it to executive session?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. I don't know this, so I'll let you kind of interject here and give us your opinion.
No, it was me, Mr. Sandoval. I know Chapman is there, but I was thinking like if we could
Oh, okay,
session just so we can discuss this particular item or this particular thing. you know.
Yes, we can either wait and put it into executive session and discuss it with Jeff Chapman there, and then we can always come back out here and make a motion.
Jeff on board, or
Yeah, Jeff, are you on?
what's your recommendation, Jeff?
Are you trying to reach me?
Yes. Yes, Jeff.
I didn't hear that. I stepped out of my office for a second. Can you ask me again?
Okay, Jeff, what we're asking, we're considering this change order, and I know that we have issues in regards to trying to get credit for the case. And we always consider making it subject to, making sure we get the credit. So we're kind of asking for direction. Do you still feel we were able to get the credit? Can we make it subject to, making sure we do get it? I know that this part of the project needs to get done because there is a gap in the line. We just need your thoughts on it, and if you feel this is something we can discuss in the executive session, we can, maybe move towards that.
Yeah, the credit issue is one that while we requested to be part of this change order, SureTech isn't ready to do that. They may not be ready to concede that issue yet. We've preserved our rights by making a claim for that. They're technically in default of contract because of the casing issue, but I don't think that we should let that casing issue and that credit hold up our approval of this change order to finish the connection work at Leo's, or now 7-Eleven. So my recommendation follows Milo's, which is to approve the change order. The credit issue remains outstanding. We have the ability to handle that through a separate deductive change order, or at the time of project closeout when we address the final project accounting. So I would go ahead and second the recommendation of the engineer and approve this change order to get the job done, and we'll deal with the credit later.
Okay, sounds good.
Any questions, discussion from the board? Sandoval?
No, I mean, if he's saying that we should go through with it, pues, yeah, sure, no problem.
So, huh? Need a motion?
Okay. So move on item number 4 as per Jeff Chapman.
Okay, I have a motion by Sandoval. I need a second by Arriaga. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, discussion possible action on award of bid to lower responsible bidders for water line and meter maintenance supplies.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, every year at the end of the year, we go out for bid for our annual supplies of water, pipes, valves, AC, whatnot. And as you can see, there's 27 sections of different types. So we went through it in last year, and on Monday, the 14th of December, we received bids, and there was 4 bidders: Core and Main, AGUA Works, Ferguson, and ACT Pipe and Supply. We always go through the spreadsheet, and it's a spreadsheet that I always prepare in regards to who was the low bidder that met the specifications that were requested of. So everything behind my recommendation letter that's yellowed out is what I'm recommending we approve. Myself and Mr. Albert and I went through it, and with that in mind, we're recommending that you approve the suppliers and the sections that coincide with what we're recommending. And if we were to order all of the parts, all of the linear feet, everything, this would be the quantity that we would be, each supplier would be awarded. We always put in like 100 feet of something, and we only 20. But at least we know that we're committed to this, and we go that far. And if we go based on what we used in the previous years, with regards to what we buy. So we're recommending approval as outlined in my letter, with the contracts, with the suppliers that we have yellowed out in the spreadsheet.
Okay. We have a motion. Motion by Arriaga. Second?
Second.
second by Sandoval. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, discussion possible action on amendment of Caballero Legislative Service Contract.
Yes, Mr. President, this is one of the items that we discussed at the end of the year. We're trying to go with our budgets and trying to get to a point where we either zero out or try to stay in the positive. And we looked at this one, and I had recommended and discussed. I met with Ms. Caballero. We tried to reduce her contract, and she was willing to do so. So the proposal that she signed off on really is she has reduced her time of service from June, the contract would end June 2022, now will end June 2021. So it will go through the session that we have right now for the 6 months of 2021. And she also has reduced the amount of her agreement on a monthly basis from $8,000 a month to $5,000. I'm recommending.
I have a question, Mr. Sines.
Yes.
I mean, I love the fact that, I mean, we're going to be saving money here from 8,000 to 5,000, which is 3,000, which is very good. But does it have a 30-day clause on the contract?
I don't believe it does, but we can incorporate it. And I don't feel she will have a problem with it as well. She was working with us, she agreed to the terms. We can incorporate that in there. And we'll make it subject to.
Okay.
Okay, so then I would like to approve the item, but as long as we incorporate the 30-day clause before we give her this contract.
Definitely. I won't sign it until that's in there and it's initial by her.
Okay. I have a motion by Sandoval. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Esmer. On the favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, discussion possible action on recommendation pertaining to KM International LLC service contract.
Mr. President, members of the board, in line with the previous item, we've communicated with KM International to try to reduce theirs as well. They do web services and PR and newsletters and other work services. They have asked for a presentation, and they have one that will be up on the screen.
Okay.
So we provide it to you, and then we can either continue the discussion here, or I know there's an item also in the executive session. We can move to it after.
Okay.
Pam, Cindy, whenever you're ready. It would be Karina Cardoso and Kane who will be making it. There we go. Try to get it on the screen.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Karina Cardosa. I know some of you have met me before. I'd like to welcome the new members, Ms. Diaz and Ms. Solis. I'm here to give a presentation on behalf of KM International. We do, as Mr. Sines mentioned, website development consulting services and public relations consulting services. So I'd like to first thank you and appreciate the opportunity to discuss with you tonight the services that we provide. Okay, just want to make sure you can see my presentation.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. And feel free to stop if you have any questions along the way. It's kind of lengthy. I'll go through it pretty quickly, not to take up too much of your time. But again, I appreciate the opportunity. And so KM International Public Relations, we have about 40 years combined governmental experience with media and public relations, a long and lengthy productive history of increasing awareness and outreach to the public arena to meet the needs of our clients. Now, a lot of you may not have seen it before because we work entirely behind the scenes for our clients, and what we do is we help our clients look good, both on the website and in the public. So we also maintain effective relationships with local media outlets in order to increase the public relations and have a good contact like that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my team. It is myself. I am originally from Edcouch, Elsa, and I graduated from Columbia University in New York, and I worked for Congressman, at the time, Ruben Hinojosa in DC and in the local office as his grants coordinator. And then I ended up working in Hidalgo County, where I worked my way up to becoming the public information officer and director of public affairs. So I really have a lot of experience working with government organizations and working with their public relations and external communications. And a little bit more on my team. Michael Rutherford is my partner, and he also has a background in county government experience, and he is does a lot of the technological background information as well. So he has a history of working with public relations and government entities as well. Michelle Villarreal is also part of my team. She actually has experience. She worked with a state representative as well. She worked with me in the Hidalgo County Public Relations Office at the time. And Michelle and I both have our master's degrees. And so we've been working in this field for a long time. And we do consult with several government entities as well. We also have graphic designers on staff, on standby, that help us with a lot of the creative design and layout of our information. So working with AGUA, as I mentioned, we've been working with AGUA since 2017. And we do website consulting services and public relations consulting services. Now, our background has been with working with government entities, and so we're real aware and familiar with all of those processes. And AGUA as a quasi-governmental entity is no different. So these are some of the activities that we've done. I hope you can read it, but we do ongoing consulting services on an as-needed basis for any public relations, communications, or marketing need as identified by the general manager and by the board. And so we're on hand and we stay available to assist with anything. Sometimes things are needed on an immediate basis, and we are always ready to assist in that. We were instrumental in designing the website, the new website, assisting with all the technological parts of that. And we attend regular meetings. We assist in the distribution and creation of press releases, photo releases, statements to the media. We do newspaper ads, graphic design, and other creative artwork. We created the AGUA Times newsletter, as some of you may be familiar with it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's a direct communication to households within the AGUA SUD service area, approximately 14,000. And we actually launched and have been maintaining the Facebook page for AGUA and social media. And we encourage you to like it and share all of the posts that are there as well once we continue that. We update information timely whenever there's information that needs to get out to media regarding a water break or water stoppage or anything like that. We do emergency notifications. We do the posting of the meeting and special meeting notices, minutes, all of that. We comply with the new requirement as per SB 2052. And so we're around to help with anything that's needed of us. And as you can see, it's quite a bit. And we also do other public relations and website duties at a time. Now, this is the information that we've done with AGUA, and I'm going to go through some of the details with that. So with the website consulting services, we use state-of-the-art digital technology, and we design, develop, and maintain the attractive and highly functional website that showcases your organization and maximizes traffic to the website. And so we're easily able to tailor it to your needs. Some of the services that we provide, and this is the technical stuff in terms of the web development, is the website is mobile and responsive. We do the logo incorporation and everything, project management, if there's anything that we ever needed to do. This is all in the development of this when this first happened. The website is maintained on Amazon Web Services, so everything is safe and secure. Your data is stored and it's easily retrievable if ever needed. And all of this is thoroughly compatible with all of the software that AGUA uses as well. Here are some of the services that we've done. We did the design, we do content updates, we have secure hosting platform and DNS, SSL security to ensure it's secure. It is compatible with the customer portal that you see. It's updated on a regular basis. And all the storage, like I mentioned, it's a scalable cloud environment, so it will always be able to include all of your information here that's necessary. We also upload the meeting agendas and packets, as you see here. They're all kept in the calendar. You can access the meetings and agenda and even the minutes now through here. We do all these news posts whenever there's anything regarding any information that needs to be to the public, and we update all the financial information as well, and project updates. We do the notices and news for any type of news that is informative and the public would be interested in. We do graphic events, graphic design for new posts, such as this right here, and we maintain an event calendar. Now, in terms of public relations consulting services, public relations, what is it? It is telling your story in a manner that's interesting, engaging, and inviting to the intended audiences. Now, a lot of times with our government clients, we find that the information, especially with the water utility district, the information that is your technological lingo requires a bit of a learning curve to understand what it means to the general public. So we do a really good job at digesting information that is very high level and turning it into something that's easily understandable for the public. And that is almost like a translation that we do, because a lot of the general public does not necessarily understand what a smart water meter is or what these connections may be. And so it takes a lot of education and informing on a really easy to understand level. And our content writers, myself and Michelle, we're really skilled in being able to translate that and make it easy to understand. So we do content writing and editing, media relations, social media management, graphic design, and of course, a newsletter. So content writing and editing, whether you're promoting an individual, product, service, an event, or an issue, we can help you meet your outreach goals through impactful writing. We do media advisories and press releases to our local media, to cover the events, and to share information that's important to the public. Newsletter content. I like to say that our team can make a story out of a little bit of information that you give us. So, we write these with some basic information. For example, if someone is presenting to the board on a project and, that's all we have, or we have just a little project update, we can turn it into a story and make it interesting to the public. Like we said, in a manner that's easily understandable in layman's terms. We also write and translate the stories into Spanish as needed. Social media content writing. So in order for you to have good engagement on social media, you have to give people a reason to want to read your information. So, we created these little posts providing just education and information to the public about, a variety of issues. Like I said, we can turn anything into a story. And, it's little, did you know this? And did you know that? Little tidbits of information that they might not otherwise get the information. So it's important to, with social media especially, to make brief content that is maybe a little bit difficult to understand, make it easy to understand and engaging, and that it looks nice, that people want to look at that picture and they click on it to see what it's about. We also do letters and messages. We draft correspondence as needed. These are some messages from previous directors that were used in some of our introductory messages for newsletters and reports, etc. We also help with drafting proclamations and resolutions. We have a lot of experience in doing that with our time at the county. We had to do resolutions. For example, this one is a resolution written in appreciation to a former director that I believe he had retired. But we also do things whenever there's needed, if there's like a certain, water awareness week or something. And this is really good to, have community goodwill where you can just, have these proclamations and resolutions for different items that are there. I know that, recognizing perhaps the interns that are there in the organization or things like that. It's always a way of just making news, and we can help with that. We also help with, as needed, with speech writing. If there's ever a requirement to testify before a committee or something like that, we can assist with that. We're really good at, like I mentioned, researching an issue and getting your message across in a way that's understandable to the intended audience. Media relations. So in my experience as a public relations consultant, I have maintained good, positive relationships with our local media outlets, whether print, television, or digital nowadays. And, the media just want you to be responsive and factual and with your information and timely. And so that's something that we built our reputation on, and being able to do that. We help plan press conferences and media events. As you can see here, there was a press conference with U.S. congressmen. We do these we can do these for important and newsworthy announcements on new programs that you have, grant announcements, check presentations, partnerships, other initiatives, and much more. We also do events coverage. So what does that mean? We go and help cover events, you know, like we had some sensitive events or meetings, and all it takes is a photo and a little bit of information, and we can turn it into something that is newsworthy. Or even if it's just for social media, if it's not really, you know, to disseminate to the press, if it's a little write-up, we can definitely help with that, and we do. Media management. So we manage our media contacts through a software that allows us to see, you know, how many people opened it, and it's all about maintaining organization and ensuring that the people that you want to see your information, that they're accessing it. So we also keep updated. As you know, there may be some turnover in local media outlets, so we do our best to keep that maintained and updated, so that we have easy access to our press contacts. Social media management. Again, social media is a very different audience. You know, it's your general public, and it's a two-way conversation that you can have with the public, and it's really a way for you to increase your brand awareness in the community. We maintain and manage the AGUA social media site, which is Facebook. So we write, schedule, and post content. This is an example of a post that we do. This is the page in general, and this is a way that we use to schedule certain post content. So if we want to do a campaign, for example, during the Palmview transition, well, we wanted to educate and inform the public as to what the entire process has been. And so we broke up the timeline into steps, what it was taking, and also little education components about why this was happening in the community, and, you know, how important it was, and, you know, what it's going to do to benefit the community. So we did these little, like, did you knows as a little campaign to go on social media. Graphic design is another important aspect of our work, our public relations work. So whether it's developing a corporate identity or designing a poster for an event, we like to help you create eye-catching graphics that make your audience want to know what it's about, whether it's an event or just information in general. So these are some examples of some of our clients that we've done their logo design for. Now, AGUA had redesigned their logo already, so they were asked us years ago to help them with business cards and letterhead that we create. So it's all about maintaining a constant and unified look. We do graphic posts, like we mentioned, for social media and the website. These are examples. We also do, you know, for different events or holidays, we'll do little posts on behalf of the district and the board. And if we need to share important emergency information, such as a shelter-at-home order. We also do digital and print ad creation for our local, you know, with our local media outlets whenever the board wishes to provide an ad to the public. And as you can see, we keep the same look and brand of AGUA, but we cater it to the holiday in mind. I'm sure you've seen these. These were in the progress times these this past holidays. We do invitations. We did create this invitation for this census rally. Was a partnership with all these partners here: City of Palmview, City of Peñitas, La Jolla, Sullivan City, La Jolla ISD, and Precinct 3 that we had to help people sign up for the census. There was a drive-by and a telethon. It was a really big, exciting event. And then lastly, the newsletter. We understand the importance of keeping our clients engaged and aware. And one of the ways we do that is through direct mail, which the newsletter is disseminated to 14,000 households in the AGUA SUD service area. And what we do is we do a turnkey solution, which is print design, digital design. We write all the content in there, the graphic design and the layout, and, you know, we help get that out to the public. Here's some samples of these are annual newsletters. Of course, we can increase the frequency if the board so would like. And these are about 4 pages, and they're done in English and Spanish. And as you can see, these are some of the stories that we said. So the Palmview project, we would keep updates. We would get updates from the contractors, and we would incorporate the updates as they became available to us. Here are some additional services that we provide just as part of our business. We do help coordinate with like any events that you have, groundbreaking ceremonies, ribbon cutting ceremonies, health fairs, back to school fairs, Christmas toy distributions. We create these events, but we also help coordinate the event. In fact, we've been a donor to the La Jolla ISD for their back to school bash for the last 2 or 3 years, and helping them coordinate the distribution of school supplies and backpacks and important information for all students. But we also do different, events if you like legislative events, anything to recognize our clients. So, just some things to keep in mind that we can assist with. We also do training and development. We've been asked to give training on effective media relations and training and development. I was a public information officer before, so we were asked to give a presentation to some of the local city secretaries association on tips and tidbits for that. We do, of course, public speaking training. All of these services can be provided as well. And then we also provide professional support for elected officials and admin, strategic planning, crisis management. Sometimes that's important whenever something comes up. Like I mentioned before, there's been emergencies before where there's like a water break and we need to get the information out to the public. So we work with our media partners. And we also try and get information out directly to the public. And of course, being able to share the information as to the reasoning, it really quells a lot of questions and a lot of issues that people may have once you give them the information in the way that they understand. And of course, other services as needed. So that's a summary of our services that we provide. I open it up to the board with any comments or questions. I'm going to stop sharing my presentation so I can. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share the services that we provide.
Thank you. Any questions for the board?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
How much was your contract per year or on a monthly basis?
Between the services on the website and also on the PR side, it's $67.50 per month.
Okay. So it was for PR and the website, right?
And there's 2 different services that provide. One is for the website maintenance and Facebook, whatnot, and the other one is the PR stuff, the media stuff, and doing the newsletter. Correct me if I'm wrong, Karina, but that's kind of where you divide the 2, correct?
That is correct. Those are the 2 services provided under our contract. The last page that I mentioned is we're on an interlocal, we're approved vendors with the interlocal purchasing service, which is the purchasing cooperative for the state of Texas that allows, provides these types of services. We've already been awarded as a vendor.
Yes, they were awarded this contract through the buy board.
Yeah, I remember when it got approved. Yeah. Another note, I know I did get a text from Dave Hendricks that the budget wasn't on our website. My understanding that Mr. Science, you had given it to them and it wasn't updated?
Well, we had proposed not to put it in there following the negotiations, but it would be a budget amendment if we were to continue. So right now we need to, take action on which route we want to go. Mm-hmm. It would be a budget amendment. However route we want to go and reduce it and eliminate it.
But I'm talking about our annual budget.
Correct.
Yeah.
We would amend the budget.
Mm-hmm.
If we can. We were recommending that it not be included at that time.
On the website?
Not on the website, no.
Yeah, I'm talking about the website.
Oh, you're talking about putting it on the website. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the call or the text that I got from Dave Hendricks.
Okay.
That it wasn't on the website at that time frame. The budget.
Yeah, the budget's on the website by the resolution
but
after we passed it.
But it wasn't there before, so they can the constituents can actually look at it before.
Okay, because what we posted was that it would be up front, as we've always done. And that follows compliance. So it was posted in the paper that it would be in the law.
On which invoice, because there's two parts to it, on the newsletter. How many newsletters do you do a year, Karina?
We serve at the discretion of the board, and it's been done once a year. So far, it's been tried to, if we have an opportunity to obtain more information that needs to be disseminated, we're more than willing and able to do so. So it really depends on the, what is determined. The ones that I showed you were the samples that have been done for the last 3 years.
So we only do like one newsletter per year?
Right now, we've only done one newsletter per year. We did one in 2020 and one in 2021.
And the fees are reoccurring on a monthly basis. No matter if they do the work or don't do the work, it's still the same amount.
Yes,
on a monthly basis. Same amount.
yes,
not as needed, or they did this work on this month, and okay, we gotta pay them.
It's just whether we only ask for 10 hours of their day or their month, or 100 hours of their month. Is that fixed rate? And I don't know whether we did 4 newsletters. I don't know that.
Gotcha.
But we were pushing for 2 years.
How many changes on the website? Like, for example,
did you hear that, Karina?
I did not. I'm sorry.
how many changes do we make on the website? Like, for example, like the holidays and so forth. I don't know, like this past year.
Or on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
It just depends when we're asked. Of course, we're here. A lot of things that we do is self-initiated. For example, the closures or the holiday closures or things like that. But a lot of times we depend on getting asked by the district to make the appropriate changes on an as-needed basis.
We basically email and we need to get the financials on the website. We need to put the check register or the agenda. And then we send it to them and they'll post it in the appropriate.
So then pretty much it's based on what we tell them to do. It's not something that they're overlooking to see there's or any recommendation from them, give it to us. And I guess this is a question, Karina, I'm sorry. And this is new to me. I'm one of the new board members, so I'm not very familiar with your contract. But so then if AGUA doesn't contact you to make any changes to our website or anything like that, nothing is done. It just stays the same until we recommend it. Is that, did I understand correctly?
That's the majority of it.
So then it's not like something that they have where they're saying, okay, we're going to change it up on their own, like, anything that's coming up. No. Okay.
Well, we rely on the information that's provided to us. For example, I was updated the information with, for the holidays, the closures and things like that. We update the agendas and the minutes on a regular basis. Sometimes the meetings are as often, but in terms of the project updates and things like that, we rely on receiving the information so that we can make those appropriate updates, because without having the information, we're not able to update.
Ms. Carter,
do you have any questions or comments?
Mr. Tiarina, this is Matt.
Yes,
I've got a couple things. Ms. Cardozo, my name's Matt Beatty. I don't think we've met before. I'm legal counsel for the district. Just a couple things I was curious about. The two separate projects or the two separate divisions of work that you guys charge for, I'm curious about any potential overlap between them. And let me just, I don't know if you have a copy of that pricing and the description of duties in front of you that's handy by chance.
The public relations is different from the website development and management. The services are different as I was sharing them in the presentation.
I
Website development is included.
Okay, I understand. But like, for instance, under the website development, it talks about, of course, hosting, well, first of all, developing the website, which has obviously been done, and a great job was done there. Posting information such as the meetings and things like that. Then it talks about providing ongoing management services, including hosting, content creation, news updates and posts, and newsletter creation. And that's all under the website development management services. So I don't know if there's any overlap. I mean, a lot of the information you gave about the public relations seemed to, relate to news updates and posts and things like that. So I'm trying to get an idea about, where that line gets drawn.
Sure. So the website is actually just accessing the information electronically and being accessible to the public in that way. And of course, we are ready and able to increase the capacity there on that end if the board so pleases.
Well, no, I mean, for instance, under the existing contract, one of the things listed under website is content creation, news updates and posts, and newsletter creation. The presentation you gave seemed to put that under public relations. So I'm trying to figure out where there might be overlap with regards to those two items.
The news posts are on the website, and they are then shared on the social media as part of public relations.
Okay.
As an example.
All right. Tell me this, is there somebody that monitors, for instance, like the Facebook page for content posted by third parties in the public and things like that? How does that get handled? When
Yes.
somebody puts something on there that's inappropriate or whatnot, how does that get handled?
We have some policies and procedures in place. If we need to ask questions from the district staff on how to address certain situations, where we do that, or there isn't too much activity on that end in terms of people commenting, and of course we address it as we need to on an as-needed basis.
Okay. Would that activity fall under website, or would that fall under PR?
That's PR. Social media is under public relations, yes. The website is just the website.
All right. And then as far as other fee arrangements, do you have clients that retain you on a project by project basis as opposed to a fixed monthly retainer, or are all of your clients on a fixed monthly retainer?
That's our contract with the purchasing cooperative, but we are willing to entertain, if the board has another recommendation or wants to look at something else, we're more than willing to work with you.
All right. I sure appreciate that, and that's all I've got for you.
Thank you so much. And going back to the website, as I mentioned, the meetings and all the board information that's backed up and it's kept, privately and secure. So.
Oh, yes. It's very professional. There's no doubt about it. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions by the board? Comments?
Can we take this item to executive session?
Okay. I have a motion by Sandoval. Need a second? Second by Esmer. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we're going to executive session for further legal information, Sandoval, or?
Yes, for further legal advice. Yes.
Okay, just for the
Thank you.
record.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 8, discuss some possible action on the formation and appointment of board committees for AGUA directors for districts 1 and 7. On this one, I make the appointment of board committees for the consideration by the board, and it's District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. These committees are actually, I know City of Palmview wants to start having workshops with us. I know District 1 will be Maribel Diaz, myself, Esmer, to start talking about the Palmview sewer project. how we can work together. That's just one of the districts. It's up to the board to consider it, and if they have any changes or performance.
Yeah, and
Mr. Sines?
discussions with you, Mr. President, I know that previously we had basically where we had our board members represent cities, and then we had 3 that represented the county. So, basically, this is a change from that position where if, Mr. Hidalgo represents La Jolla, he would be part of the La Jolla committee. And Mr. Sandoval, who is Sullivan City, would be part of the Sullivan City committee. Well, now with the change where we go into districts now, there's some overlap of some board members that represent 2, there's 2 of them that represent 1 city. So that's where, obviously, we're here now where you're recommending that those individuals that represent those areas, and no more than 3 be appointed, be part of those. So if there's somebody, city manager of La Jolla wants to meet, or we'll call on the district committee to that area, to attend, and that's where you're coming from.
Yes, sir.
So we're just making a change from being just a city to a district now, and then updating this committee to be able to have 3 individuals, and hopefully one of them can attend and not all 3. Make sure we don't have a quorum.
Okay. Any questions by the board?
No.
Make a motion to approve the board's committee.
Motion made by Esmer. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Maribel. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, discussion possible action on scheduling of new director training as required by district bylaws and statutes.
Yes, Mr. President, this is on that Mr. Matt Bailey has discussed that we need to get our newly elected board members in training, and we only have so much of the time to do it. So we're trying to get some dates, and I'm going to let Matt go ahead and intercede here and give us some direction and maybe some possible dates that the board members can participate in.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sines. There are requirements for director training in both the water code as well as the AGUA bylaws and the enabling statutes. There's a couple of different components to it. There are requirements that all new directors receive training under both the Open Meetings Act, which is the rules about convening meetings and things of that nature. And then there's also training required under the Public Information Act, where individuals are entitled to information relating to the operations of the district and whatnot. Those 2 components are to be done online through the Texas Attorney General's office. They need to be done within 90 days of the date of election. So that puts us at February 3rd, 4th, whatever the time in February is. So that's something that could be done on the new director's time at their convenience. What's a little more robust and more complicated are training sessions that are required relating to the district's history, relating to procurement, laws and regulations that govern the district's ability to spend money, to pay for projects, to seek goods and services and things of that nature. That training is required to be, I believe it's no less than 8 hours. And so we're looking at really spending, 1 day and a full day at that to complete that training. That should also be done within the 90-day time period. So I asked that this item get put on the agenda just for purposes of bringing it to the board's attention, and so that we can consult with schedules of the individuals. Now, of course, if we're going to have, all the directors are invited, and I would encourage any of the directors, even past directors, directors that I think there is at least one director still on the board that I may have given the training session to way back in the day. But we will need to post that information, give appropriate notice, because it's likely that there'll be more than 3 directors present, and schedule a time that's convenient to the extent that it can be convenient to get a history lesson and learn about, exciting statutes like the Texas procurement legislation and other things like that are fun for lawyers and boring to anybody that's got a pulse. So to the extent that there's some discussion, we don't have to necessarily set the date right now. That's something that could be discussed at a later time, and then we'll give a posting of that 72 hours in advance. But we're really talking about a good day, and so I would suggest if you want to split it up into 2 days, we do either a Thursday and Friday, or we could do a full day on Friday. But it's a lot of information, and in our experience, I've done this a few times for AGUA. Having 2 part-time days is really a little bit easier. So it's up to the board and the individuals affected the most, which are the 2 new directors.
Matt, on this one, I thought it was 16 hours total.
8 hours a day. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's right. It's 16 total hours. It's 8 hours per day.
Yes, so we got to do 2 full days.
2 full days.
Yeah, I remember it was good.
Yeah. An hour that you don't have on your site for something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you don't do both.
Well,
and listening to me, it'll seem like 2 weeks. So I'm just preparing everybody.
Yeah.
But, question, man. You mentioned that some of it could be online. Is the online training also part of the 16 or plus 16?
That's separate.
That's separate, yeah. But that we can do on our own time. Correct?
Exactly. That's right. Once you complete it, you get a certificate, and it's been a number of years, but I think that at the end of the measure, you get a certificate, and it either automatically notifies the state that you've completed it, or you print out the certificate and we keep it in the district office. I'm not sure if that's changed as far as electronic record keeping since the last time we did it, but yes. And those can be signed up through the Texas Attorney General's website. If Cindy doesn't have that information available, I can certainly find it and get it to both the new directors. It's really helpful. Those 2 classes are really instructive, and I would encourage both of you to do that as soon as you can, because I think what you'll find out is that once you take those 2 online courses, it'll help you understand in more detail, why and how, notices get posted and the process of these open meetings and whatnot. Why executive session is, what you can talk about in executive sessions, what has to be on the agenda, what's an appropriate agenda, those types of things.
For the 2 full days, does it have to be during the week or?
Yeah, Matt, the question is, not myself, also my opinion, sorry to interrupt you, Esmer, but as a business owner, it's kind of hard for doing it during the week. Can we do it maybe on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday? Of course, the staff would have to be here.
Not an issue, it's on our behalf. But it's a matter of how Matt can do it, whether it's virtual or whether it needs to be doing.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I did. And that's a great idea, Eddie. I hadn't thought about doing at least all or part of it virtually. I think there are going to be some components of the training that will be very conducive to virtual. Things about the history of the district and things like that, I think could be done virtual. And we could set that up. But there are some of the things, we're going to have some presentations on, procurement statutes and limitations and, like, for instance, when things have to go out to bid, when they don't have to go out to bid, that I really think, and maybe I'm just old school on this, but doing those things in person is probably going to be more effective, of course, in a COVID sensitive, a socially distanced environment. But what if we did this? There's no action that the board needs to take tonight. I wanted this on the agenda just to make everybody aware that we were in the process of scheduling it. I will put together a proposed agenda on virtual and in person, and then try to break those up in days that don't crush 2 consecutive days for everybody. How does that sound?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead and send that email it to me, Matt, and then I'll discuss it with need more members for sure.
100%. You got it. Well, I'll coordinate with you, Eddie, and we'll come up with some type of a schedule that lets us accomplish what we have to accomplish without spending 2 consecutive long days in a room.
Okay, we'll work it out that way. Thank you, man. Any other questions on this side?
Any questions,
No.
Maribel, Esmer?
No.
Next item, item number 10, discussion possible action for the AGUA Board of Directors to excuse Director Adolfo Arriaga from attending the next 6 regular monthly board director meetings from February 2021 through including July 2021, since Director Arriaga has been accepted for a First Responder Academy.
Yes,
Want to explain a little bit?
Mr. Aliaga submitted this, so
Okay.
I just want to preface that it was requested from him to put on the agenda. For Rodriguez answer to be put on the agenda as well, and pass it on.
Okay.
Mr. Aliaga.
I had attached a letter. I don't know if you guys have read it already. I'm just asking if I can get excused for this 6 months. It might not be that I might attend. Probably I can attend virtually, but it's not a for sure thing due to the fact that it's going to be a 6 months of training, and my understanding we're not going to be having no electronics, no, and there's going to be 6 months there. That's it. So that's the reason why, because I was actually thinking, hey, you know what, after during the day, in the afternoon, I can do it. But no, they're taking away everything, no electronics, no watches. That's the only reason, and if I want to get excused, if it's possible, I know it's from the board to excuse me or not, but I'm not saying that I probably miss all the meetings, because I don't know if once I'm there, that's going to be yes, we'll let you go, or we don't let you go. I still don't know. Actually, and it's not going to be here locally. I cannot say what agency it is. I know we're further on, and you guys might already know where. Yeah. But I can't say what agency.
Yeah.
So it involves the first responders.
Hey, Mr. Rega.
On
I'm just saying, thinking out loud, I guess. I mean, congratulations on your new job, you know. But how about, I was just thinking, how about if we take it on a monthly basis? Let's say for February, you can log in, right? But if you can't post, you know, let Mr. Science know. I mean, I'm suggesting that, but, you know, everybody has their own opinion.
I don't know if I'm going to even be able to, because that's going to be limited as well. My understanding, I believe, is that you just get 2 minutes per week, and that's it. You're going to call your family member, and that's it. Hey, I'm okay, and that's it. So that's the reason why, and that's why I'm getting everything prepared, thinking ahead, and telling everybody, hey, you know what, this is what's going to happen. I'm probably going to be disconnected for a while, but my understanding is only it's going to be the weekend. Some weekends they're going to come back to bring their report back at a certain time by Sunday. So sometimes it's going to be worth it coming, sometimes it's not going to be worth it even coming.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. And the agency that you're going with, or whichever the first responder agency, did they provide anything like that for you for the record, so that the board can have something that shows that you have absolutely no communication at all with them?
Yes, but like I said, I cannot put the agency. If then they do provide us with certain information, and they do tell us at the beginning, hey, this is this is what's going to be happening, and this is what you expect for your family to this is what's going to happen. So be coaching your family to be saying, hey, that's it, like, this is what's going to happen. So it's like basically like, I understand, like military things, more or less, like, okay, let's say you take off, okay, let's see the phone, okay, that's what I'm assuming.
Matt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On this one, what is our bylaw state? I mean, I've never seen this because I was going over the bylaws, but
Okay, so
do we have any direction or any action?
Let me say this and bear with me a little bit because there's a few things that are involved here. And first of all, let me say congratulations to Director Arriaga. It's obviously an honor and great for everybody involved. And I think it's a very prudent and transparent move to put this on the agenda, so that way all of your constituents are aware of why you would be absent. That's a very a good decision on y'all's part. I suspect that the issue that could be involved here is Chapter 49.052 of the Texas Water Code, which talks about the ability of a board to remove a member in the event that he or she misses half the meetings in one particular year, I think is the issue. First of all, let me tell you this, Mr. Arriaga. In order for that provision to be invoked, it would have to be the unanimous consent of all other 6 directors in order to have somebody removed. So it wouldn't be a matter of somebody being removed, by just a quorum. Let's say you just had 4 board members showed up to a particular meeting and it was unanimous there. It's a unanimous decision by all 6 remaining board members. And even if the board voted to remove that individual, then you would have the right to appeal to the TCEQ, and they would review it and determine whether or not they thought that the board had a good reason to move it. So, with that said, I don't see this as really being something that would likely materialize. But as far as the board's ability to take any action, that's really not clear. And let me tell you why I say that. Because you've been elected, and each of you individual board members have been elected to represent a particular district, and so I think there may be some difficulty with board members, even in a unanimous situation from other districts, voting to allow a director from one district to not be there. And in other words, say, okay, well, the voters and the constituents of this particular district, it's okay if you don't have representation, for the next 6 months. It doesn't speak, one way or the other. And so I'm not saying that the board can or can't take action. They can certainly acknowledge it. And by raising it here today, you've done, your duty in my view, as far as, explaining that in advance, so there won't be any questions after the fact. But I mean, even if the board, let's say, for instance, the board was to take action today and say, hey, we're going to excuse Mr. Arriaga for the next 6 months, I don't see anything in the statute that would preclude the board from reviewing that 6 months and then still taking action under the water code to remove the director. But again, like I said, there's a lot of safeguards in place, and that is that it would require everybody to agree, and you would have a right to appeal. So I tell you all that because I don't think there's a real clear answer, and there may be an argument that the board actually doesn't have the authority to excuse an individual director from being there for his constituents. But I wanted y'all to see the whole picture so that you as an individual and the board as a whole understand what issues, at least that I'm aware of. So any questions you've got, I'm happy to fire away, but I think that pretty much explains it from what I've been able to gather.
Okay. From my opinion, I'm with Sandoval that maybe we can do month by month, and take it, like you said, things could change. Instead of 6 months, maybe only 24 months, but.
Yeah, because I just wanted to bring it up today. Why is Arriaga not coming in? So I just wanted to bring it up to the board and not say, hey, that's okay, 4 first round, I think it is true. What is he doing? So, hey, that's okay. That's why I brought, hey, put all your cards on the table. Hey, that's okay. This is the reason why. Okay. And that's why I came in person and everything. If you guys have any questions or anything, I can definitely answer them.
Yeah, and appreciate it, Ariana. What Matt mentioned, I think one of our main concerns would be that your constituents for your district would be without representation during those 6 months. So, I mean, that would be the, it's not, that would be the concern.
Yes, definitely.
But I agree with Ivan and Homer, as far as doing it maybe on a
month by month. So at least it's already here and it's up in open session. And maybe, recommendation, maybe just take no action on it and just then leave it.
Month by month.
Yes.
Because if, my understanding, hopefully everything goes good and everything, July, the last week of July is going to be the graduation. So probably.
So it should be done.
We should be done. So, we already have a graduation date. Hopefully everything comes out good and, that's July, so yeah, I'll probably be good.
Okay.
I agree with the rest of the board members.
Okay. Thank you.
Arriaga, like I said, man, congratulations.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Sandoval.
Oh, like I said, Arriaga, congratulations on your new job, man. I mean, we don't want to get you in trouble. Like, that's not me. Trust me. I'm here to work with everybody and anybody. That's no problem. But like I said, I don't want to break any laws, nothing, And like I said, if you can't make it, we understand. If you can let Mr. Science know, or even Homer, hey, that's even good enough for me. Like I said, if you can make it, and I understand.
Yeah, if you can, I mean, understandable.
Or if they let you within those 2 minutes of cutting it. Call Mr. Science, I can't make it. That's 3 seconds out of the 2 minutes.
So, yeah, thank you.
Oh, I'm going to recommend to take no action, but a motion has to be made.
Okay, so I recommend no action on this item.
Okay, I have a motion by Sandoval. Need a second?
I second.
Second by Maribel. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, General Manager's Report. Item A, November financials.
Yes, for the members of the board, as far as our report, the November financials they're included in the taxes or in December. We ended it on Zoom. If you have any questions, to me, be available. If you have no questions. I don't want to talk about water development, sanitary sewer improvements. I'd rather do that for the executive session.
On number C. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me move over to 11B, which is the December financials.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that one we can.
Okay. So we have the same thing there. They're in the packet. Questions.
Okay. Item 11C, which is Texas Water Development Board Palmview Sanitary Sewer Improvements.
I would ask that we move it to at least have any discussion that we need to in the executive session again.
Okay.
So we have that.
Because it's already there.
Yes.
And item 11D, Net Bank Technical Assistant Agreement for hookups.
Yes, I'd like to have an update on Mr. Salinas on the sewer hookup from that.
Good evening, President, board members. So far, Morwell, the contractor, has completed 600 installations of sewer connections from the property up to the point of connection. Out of those 600, 290 have been connected. 146 have been, the septic tanks have been pumped out. And out of the 146 septic tanks that have been pumped out, 99 have been decommissioned, basically, meaning that they've been pumped out and they've been filled with sand, completely unusable. So that's the amount that we have completed this far. There's the time that's expired is approximately 50% of the time. We would hope that they had 930 connections, but they slowed down around the holidays. They had some of the workers quit, and they hired some more workers, and they actually hired another subcontractor that just started 2 weeks ago, which is Science Plumbing. And so now they have a total of 6 crews installing service connections, and 1 crew decommissioning septic tanks, and another crew pumping up. So they have a total of 18 people working at this time, and they're hoping to try and catch up. If I had to say how much they're behind, in my opinion, they're behind approximately about 2 to 2.5 months.
Behind?
Behind. So So this is something that we bring up to them, and during our monthly meetings. Since we started the project, Mr. Carlos Acevedo with NatBank, had requested that we try to average about 7 houses per day. There was a point where they were, and they had even more than 7 in some occasions. And then they sometimes have some more difficult ones where they have to hand dig and it takes a little longer, or there's concrete or other obstructions that it takes more time. So one thing that we told them is we want you to catch up, but at the same time, we prefer quality over quantity, and at the same time, you know, the residents to be happy. And so they do have some rain days that they've accumulated. So we do have it. That's what I have to report.
Okay. And do you foresee that they'll catch up those 2 months? Because that's the way we started with the Palmview Shore, and all of a sudden it went from 2 months, 4 months, and by the time you knew it.
So one of the things that the owner from Morwell mentioned is, well, we had to start before we were actually able to make connections, because the area that LNG completed wasn't able to fully connect and put sewer in there. Okay. And so we made the services, you know, to get started, but then months later it was established that the lift stations were ready and the LNG had been substantially complete to where we could start putting sewer in the pipe. So they had to go back to those homes and make the connection. So they kind of slowed down, and that's one of the things that they bring up. I do agree with them on that, but we're still trying to stay on top of them to make sure they catch up, and the fact that they hired another subcontractor at least shows that
they're wanting to work, you know, trying to catch up. Okay. Any questions? Not bad. That's one.
So I just hope Milo didn't fall too far behind.
We're staying on top of them, so
yeah. And we also need to make sure and be aware of the fact that once they finish the LNG side, they're going to go to the ONG side. And if they can't make connections, so ONG's not finished, then it almost becomes
the same situation.
An issue where how do we make them finish in their contract if they can't make the connection?
There are 2 areas that Mr. Parent and I have discussed, which is the area where G7 is, which is behind HEB. There's an existing lift station that pumps to Hidalgo mud. We did talk about maybe looking at that area to where if they do complete the whole phase 1 area that LNG completed, you know, maybe they can move to this section and we can try and coordinate that with Hidalgo mud to where we can do a bypass from the new lift station to the existing, to the older one, and use that temporarily, and at least that'll buy them more time. And then there's another area where on Business 83 where the OG project connects to the LNG project. There's another area there that we would be able to do so, but we're hoping that the OG site gets complete.
We're being proactive, and hopefully we can find out pockets to be able to at least get some of those areas in the OG side where we can just go ahead and use and make connections, and those will be the first ones that we will get the NatBank connections done first, maybe get them operational, and get some of the OG people, customers on that.
Okay.
And if I may add one more thing, you know, this project did have a $6 million grant. The construction is roughly about $2.9 million. So one of the things that we've also been discussing with science is there's some areas that don't have sewers, like on Bensten Palm between Veterans and the expressway. That area for some reason does not have a line there. I know that
Roque Salinas to Zeke's house on Ziggy's house on Navro. You got 2 streets down La Homa south. There's some other areas that we need to address.
So we wanted to try and target those areas to see if we would be able to identify those, and then the next time that we have a meeting with NatBank, mention them to them and see if they would qualify for that type of funding. Because the funding is for yard lines, but at the same time, it might be able to be used for some main lines and also to connect those, those residential homes.
Yes, when we did have, our presentation of the check from Congressman Cuevitas, we did mention it to him. I had a meeting with him in our office after it was this, and I brought up this situation, and he was very amenable, and he did mention it to the director of that bank at the time that he wanted to see what he could do to keep the money here. We needed to come up with some backup information as to what those costs would be, and hopefully use as much of the remaining budget that they awarded us as a grant to be used for main lines and connect. So we're also working on that to try to use up that money while it's still, awarded to AGUA.
Yeah. Before they take it back.
You're right. So I mentioned it again. I know he was here at your swearing in, and we did remember it. I thought we will need to be getting to it.
Yeah, I know. We had discussed this.
Another area, just north of Veterans, along FM 492 on Goodwin. There's an existing line there. That's what flows into that existing lift station behind HEB. So there's some homes there, and those are also, maybe something that might be able to qualify. We just need to make sure that it would be environmentally cleared because the service area was a certain mass, and so those are the type of questions that we need to get verification from them.
So we're working on a package for that as well.
Good.
Thank you.
Any questions by the board?
Do you have one more item that you want to add? I know I didn't put it on here.
Okay,
it was
go ahead.
That came up in between the agenda item, but, Mr. Matt and I have been talking about an agreement that we have with a provider that was going to take care of our merchant service. So I want to be able to at least tell you that, we're discussing that. I want to be able to talk to the board during the executive session and give you enough. I want to be giving up the open.
Okay.
So
and that's iPay, right?
That's iPay. Yes.
Okay. Item 12, executive session pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act and Texas Governing Code, Section 551.001, consultation with attorney, 551.072, regarding real property, 551.073, restricted gifts, 551.074, personal matters, and 551.076, security. Item A, Texas Water Development Board, Palmview Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. Item B, discussion regarding case number C-3353-20-I, SMB Infrastructure versus AGUA Special Utility District in District Court of Hidalgo County, Texas, 398th Judicial District. Item C, discussion regarding previously terminated contract for professional legal services. Item D, discussion regarding pertaining to the KMN International L Service contract. I need a motion to go into executive session at 7:19.
So move.
So, with it, motion by Esmer, second, by Arriaga. On the favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I think you all want to eat here. Would you like to keep it open? Yeah.
Okay, you guys are on.
Yeah, I did.
There you go.
Eh? Huh? I need a motion to come out, at executive session at 9:10. Motion by Esmer, second by Arriaga. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I said 9:10. Motion carries. Item 13, discuss and possible action regarding items discussed in executive session. No action?
No activity.
Okay. Item 14, adjournment at 9:10. Need a motion? Motion by Arriaga. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Esmer. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At 9:11.
Oye, but I say the time now, or no?